What is good, JPDL? It's time for week 7 predictions, and I'm just going to get right into it because I'm going to be real. I'm kind of running a little bit late, and the game starts in probably an hour. But I'm just letting you know this was pre-recorded, so don't think Thursday night had any influence on my decisions. Going into Thursday night JPDL football, we have the number 4 Washington kickball team taking on the number 10 Dallas Lax Bros. This will be streamed on Disney XD. Like I said, JPDL, we're outsourcing. We're doing what we have to do. Washington, they need to solidify going over 500 for the first time this season. With all of these injuries he has sustained, to still be over 500, to still be in contention for their bye week potentially, it's going to be a must-win for Washington. There's nothing else you can say about it. Kickball team has to win this game going up against Dallas. And as for Dallas, this is an evaluation week for them. They really need to figure out who it is that they want to sell and who it is they want to keep as cornerstone pieces to the franchise. Get more draft picks, maybe get young players. Maybe don't just go for draft picks. Go for young players on other people's teams. I don't know. Maybe go target the more win now teams. Get a couple of their young pieces that aren't really performing right now, but in the future could be something. But that's going to be a good one on Disney XD. Going into the 1 o'clock game, you have the number 7 Philadelphia Frauds taking on the number 9 New York 67ers. This will be held on 95.7 FM radio. The commissioner has made a statement saying that New York is no longer going to be in much primetime games at all, okay? I know New York is a crazy brand and market, but the football they're putting out, we've heard complaints. We've heard everything, and they're just not getting it done. And for that reason, they're probably not going to be on primetime and probably going to only be on radio TV. But for Philadelphia, they're going to need this for contention. No one would have thought that 2 weeks ago, going up against Mills when he was 1-3, that he would have a shot at, getting the bye week. But there is a potential to get the bye week given Las Vegas' struggles and Philly's success winning the last 2 games. It is definitely possible for him, which sounds crazy, but it is true. And as for New York, like I said, there's not really much we can say here. It's not great ball. I want to say it's like Dallas, where it's an evaluation period as to who he wants to keep and who he wants to trade. He has a lot of good assets, but someone like Josh Allen, who is his biggest asset, I don't see many teams giving up the price point that he probably has for him. And not only that, even if it is a high price point, not many teams really need quarterback right now that are contending. So it's difficult to say whether or not New York can get a trade done for a big piece. Maybe for capital in the future or young stars, like I said, for Dallas. But we'll have to keep in touch with the I think trade deadline coming in like a week, in like 3 weeks or so. But that is that game for 1 o'clock. Going into the 4:25 game, we have the number 1 ranked Toronto Mystics taking on the number 8 ranked Boston Baller Brand. This will be held on Apple TV, and it's very simple. This is their second encounter this year. The first encounter, Coach Daigle blew Boston out by over 30 points. Holding James to a career low 83, or season low, not career low, 83 points. That is something that, Toronto's going to want to achieve the exact same way and really stand on their defense, against Boston, Boston's known for their ground and pound game. If you can stop the ground and pound game, as Coach Daigle apparently did week 1, then, all bets are off as to who's going to win. Boston's not winning if they can't ground and pound. As for Boston, this is a must-win for them if they want to make the playoffs. They are known for making the playoffs. They are known for being a playoff contending team. They actually drafted in Dynasty at the beginning of the whole JPDL in favor of win now, and it's looking like that window looking like that window is starting to close. I'm coughing just thinking about it. But look, Boston, if they lose this game, they're going to be sitting at 2-5. That is not a great record, especially with the teams that are ahead of him. He will be at least 2 games under for a playoff spot. You don't want to go into that, especially with however the schedules are ranked right now in terms of strength. But Boston, this is a must-win for them going up against the number 1 team. I don't think they're going to pull it off. And you know what? I'm going to start doing these to where I give actually my outcomes at the end. So, yeah, that's just all I'm going to say about that. Going into the Sunday night football game, this is a JPDL rivalry. Some would say the biggest rivalry in all of JPDL history. Streamed on NBC and Telemundo, it is the Los versus Los game. In other words, Los Angeles versus Las Vegas. This is going to be big. Number 5 versus number 6. This is a rivalry that's been brewing. You really cannot predict this game because of the flukiness that's going to happen. There's going to be flukiness. Now, what I can say is that although Coach Fitzgerald is 8-5 against Coach Mills, it is a very close game separated by, I believe, 3 or 4 points on average. And they actually average over 270 points a match. That is around 135 apiece. So this game, expect high offensive intensity. I don't know if you're going to get it, but a lot of their players are back. We saw Coach Mills was without quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold, Jordan Addison. You saw that Coach Fitzgerald and the Los Angeles Flames were without players like Tyreek, Devon Achane, Devontae Adams, and, even Brian Robinson if he starts. So this is going to be a game of both teams' rosters are somewhat back. What are you going to do? Coach Fitzgerald is without Cole Kmet, which was his game-changer match last week. But outside of that, his team is pretty solid. And for Coach Mills, I think his team is pretty good in terms of everyone's healthy, everyone's there. I don't know many people who are on bye week that are affecting his roster that much. So with that being said, I don't know. And it starts Thursday with Kamara and I believe Cortland Sutton. He's starting. It starts Thursday for Coach Mills. Hopefully for him, he wants to get on a good pace and get good points on Thursday leading into the 1 o'clock games. And lastly, the Monday Night Football game. The going down JPDL, Fox, and CBS simulcast. We have the number 2 ranked Atlanta Juicers taking on the number 3 ranked Vice City Ben. This is a huge game, and a huge game for that conference. As we know, 4 teams in that conference have 4 or more wins. You have a 5-1 Atlanta team, a 5-1 Toronto team, a 4-2 Vice City team, and a 4-2 Los Angeles team. So this game right here, Vice City are going to want to win this game because by getting this game, they put themselves in a prime position for the bye week. If they do not win this game, they will now be down at least 2 going into the bye, going 2.2, positions in the bye week. So that's not something that Vice City and Coach Montague is going to want. Everybody covets that bye week, and this division is by far the best division in the JPDL. For Atlanta, they've never been in this position. They have never been coming off of a loss. How do they respond? How does his star players react, especially without CeeDee Lamb, who was on bye week this week? How is Atlanta going to come back and perform? That is a question that we are going to find the answer to after this week. But I do say this will determine a lot of shifts in the power rankings given what happens in this game. So now let's go to the final recap where I give you my thoughts on who I have winning. So first of all, we have Thursday night JPDL football game between number 4 Washington and number 10 Dallas. Give me number 4 Washington all day. I think they go to 4-3 and solidify themselves as a first-time over 500 team. Going into the 1 o'clock game on 95.7 FM radio, give me Philly, number 7, taking on the New York 67ers. I think Philly is definitely on a heater right now, and they're going to look to continue that streak going forward. At the 4:25 game, we have the number 1 Toronto Mystics taking on the number 8 Boston Baller brand on Apple TV. Give me the number 1 Toronto Mystics. These boys are finding a way to win. These tight ends are playing real heavy game, jumbo package. They're doing a lot of great things here. So I really like what Toronto's doing to secure that number 1 spot. I should have never taken him. I should have always taken him as an underdog, and now I'm going to have to take him as a clear favorite in this game. Going into the Sunday night football game, the Los vs. Los game on NBC and Telemundo, we have the Las Vegas Hurdlers taking on the Los Angeles Flames. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Flames because for obvious reasons. But I do think this is going to be a closer game than people might have it or might be led to believe. And I think that this game actually could surpass 270, 280 points. Who knows? And then finally, the Monday Night Football game between the number 2 Atlanta Juicers and the number 3 Vice City Business on Fox and CBS's simulcast. Give me the number 2 Atlanta Juicers. I think that they bounce back. Vice City's team does not look as strong, especially with Chris Olave out right now, even though I don't know what he was putting up beforehand. But I see a lot of Vice City's players starting to digress, but I also see a lot of his players starting to, up and tick, like Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. So it'll be an interesting game, but I do have Atlanta Juicers taking that win. So there's my predictions. I can't wait for the week to start, which will be in around probably 40 minutes. So let me get editing. Hopefully I get this thing out. JPDL Week 7. We are here. Let's go.